Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm your host for today and the next few weeks. My name is Elise Laborn and I am a designer, I'm an educator, and I create fun and educational content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Welcome, Guillermo. Hi, Sam. It's good to see you guys in the chat. Say a little hello if you're in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Some of you guys have seen the last few streams. In those streams, I'm giving you guys design challenges, right? But I'm also giving myself little challenges in every stream. What have I done so far? Like every time I say, I did a dance on Monday. Yesterday, I think I was typing blind. Today is going to be winking. I'm going to practice I'm not a good winker. So it's going to be like a good practice for me to find appropriate times to do a good wink. We'll see how that goes. Hey, Chris. Hi, Hamza. Hey, Kieran, and Potato. Welcome. Potato Zubair. Is Potato, that's such a cool little, cool name right there. Potato Zubair Ahmed. And we have Richard Otley. Oh my gosh, it's so hard for me to say people's names today. And Unicorn and Tanya. Welcome. Welcome in the house, everyone. So let me show you my screen real quick. We've got the Behance landing page here, behance.net/challenge/XD. And we're right here with the big blue button. This is where you can enroll for the challenge. You can hear the audio. Yay, Potato. I'm glad. And then this is how the whole design challenge works. You'll receive a challenge every day. Today is the timeline screen. That's what we're going to be working on, prototyping a timeline. Yeah, sorry, no dancing today, Rob. I mean, but why not? Why not a little right now? Hey, hope you guys are doing a little dance at home as well. But I'm going to be doing that wink today, practicing that wink. These are where your design challenges live. You can download Adobe XD right here, and you can chat with the community and join Discord below. Discord is going to look like this. You're going to have these different channels here, and this channel, the channel is called Challenge. This is where you're going to upload your challenges. And I already put in the channel tips and tricks some gradient resources. We're going to talk about gradients a bit today. And I want to give some love to the people who posted on Behance, your lovely challenges from yesterday, the rideshare app. We're trying to make sure we are using colors that are accessible. So making sure that everyone can see our colors in our screen. So anyone who has any visual impairments or have color blindness can see our design. So this is a great one here. Really easy to read, black on white, and some good animations as well. That was from Annie. Great job. We also have Abranil, who's posted here another design. Ooh, cool blue colors. There's my wink. Hey. Might be hard to see my winks with how big my screen is, or how big my visual is of my face right here. But let's check out this prototype. Oh, yeah, we have the big blue button here with white text on it. Really nice job and good contrast for your colors. Great work. And we have Zach with a scooter concept. Hey, that's really nice. Pretty designs here. Oh, showing the prototype links. And we also have another video prototype with the orange color. Oh, this is really nice too. So still the contrast with the orange and the white, and making these designs accessible so everyone can appreciate your designs. That's what we're about here. All right, let's look at our designs. Oh, I got Richard's last name pronounced correct. Yay. Otley is probably one of the easier ones there, but I'm still gonna give myself props. Wink. So let's look at our designs, what we're working on today. Here is the design challenge. We are designing and prototyping an animated timeline using Auto-Animate. So this is our third challenge. And the design I provided, this is an example of a timeline. So it's gonna look like this, where I'm using my keyboard the up and down keys to have this little kind of fluid animation with space as the theme. I did this for Adobe stock video a couple weeks ago, and I was wearing an astronaut costume doing a dance. So that's where, from that video, this is where I'm using the screens that I did from that particular stock video, which I had such a good time doing. I'll share with you guys later. So let's build this out. Let's talk about how you guys can start to create your own automated timeline. Wink. All right. I like how I say wink every time too. As I do it, if you guys are just joining, my personal challenge for today is finding appropriate times to work on winking, because I'm not a great winker. So first thing you're going to do when you make a timeline, an animated timeline, is you actually want to design that full design within one artboard initially. And you're going to move forward and you're going to design however your timeline looks. So I have some images, some text, etc., and some lines. And I'm going to show you how I designed just one of these, because it's basically I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. That's the nice thing about a timeline. It doesn't have to be too fancy in the design, but we can get a little creative in the animations that we apply to it. Now, first things first is I talked about gradients earlier and how I added some resources for you guys in the Discord. I'm using this kind of rainbowy 3-color gradient in this design, and I wanted to discuss a little bit about gradients. You guys know I'm an educator. I want to just have you guys learn as we do. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about gradients and how to use them, because maybe you guys want to apply some gradients on your own timeline for this challenge. So gradients are awesome because it gives us creative freedom. We're blending colors, and it makes our designs eye-catching and more memorable. So in this example here, you see the call to action. This big button has a gradient yellow to orange, and it's really eye-catching, and it makes it pop from the design. They're a way to make our designs more interesting, less flat, like this example here. But I want to talk about some gradient do's and don'ts before you're like, yeah, gradients, let's get into it. I'm going to start just putting them everywhere. Let's talk about some color choices. When you're creating a gradient, you don't just want to stick any colors together and make a gradient like this, like burnt brick color to this lime green. It doesn't look well. It's like murky, it's poopy looking in the middle, and it just doesn't feel good. So it's better to use colors that are next to each other in the color wheel, like this lighter blue, darker blue, purple, or even colors or variant colors within side so like just like this one here's blue, we have a darker blue going to a bit of a lighter blue, right? So it kind of just feels pretty seamless between the two. Transitions. You don't just want to go straight from like, this is a gradient, right? It's like very harsh lines. Doesn't feel good. It's like, it doesn't feel so good. Smooth transition. The sound will be like, ooh, nice and smooth, right? Feels nice. And we don't want to overuse our gradients. In this example, we have a gradient in the background. We're using gradient in each card. We're using gradients on the gradients. It's like, whoa, overload. And the challenge with this is that it has bad visual hierarchy. That means my eyes don't know where to pay attention to, what to focus on. So we want to use our gradients sparingly, right? So that's a little bit of examples, a little do's and don'ts for gradients, and let's start using them, talking about them. I'm going to create this little line here, this little gradient line, and I talked about this the other days. Instead of using the line tool over here in the toolbar, I'm going to use the rectangle tool so I can apply the gradient to the rectangle, because you can't apply a gradient to a line. So I'm going to just make a longer line here, or a longer rectangle line here. I'm going to remove the border of that, and I'm going to apply my gradient. I've already made this this gradient earlier and added it to my document assets. So it's ready for me here. So now I have my little gradient line. And from here, I'm going to add some text. So I'm going to go to T for text on my keyboard, or select the text on my in my tools over here. And I'm going to type in 2025. I already added in my character styles this text that I wanted to use here. So in 2025, we're going to, in my example, we're going to have commercial space flights, meaning people can just go into space, which would be really cool. And let's see what I had here. And safety and security. So I actually want to apply the gradient to my text. If you want to do that, you can't actually apply that gradient like this. See, I'm selecting the text and I'm then trying to select that gradient. It's not working. You actually have to make your text into a path. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to Object, Path, Convert to Path. Once I've done that, it's no longer text. I can't make edits like I would with regular text, but now I can treat it like a shape where I can apply some of that gradient to it. I'm going to make this smaller and move it up a little bit. And I'm not satisfied with the way this gradient looks. It looks a little murky. You can only see the peaks of the pink. So I'm going to play around with this gradient. And in order to do so, I'm going to go into the right-hand side into where it says fill, and you can select different gradients here: solid, colors, linear, radial gradients. And once that's selected, I can actually move these little dots so that it has a better transition. So I just kind of want it to have just a peak of the pink. I feel like the pink's a little intense. And so I'm just going to transition it like that. And then I am going to just add this image over here onto the right. And there we go. So now we have our final piece here. I'm going to put all of this into a group. Just selecting all the objects I want into a group, and then right-clicking and selecting group. And I can find over here on the left-hand side in my layers that group, and I can just retitle it if I want to. I'm going to bring it over here with the other ones. Aubrey's asking if we can show how to add a gradient as a color style. Yeah, so if I were to make a gradient, I'm just going to place one here. I have a rectangle. I'm going to select linear gradient, and I can have like this blue going into maybe this kind of a blue here. And from there, I now have a gradient, and I want to add it to my colors. I'm just going to my document assets here at the top and adding it with this little plus button. And so now I have both the border color and this gradient, which I don't want this border color. And so now I can apply it, that same gradient, throughout my designs, which is really helpful, right? Okay, good question. Thank you. I'm glad you guys now know how to apply gradients to text. Cool. So I am now going to break these down into 4 boards. This is the way you're actually able to create that timeline structure. So with the animation. So I'm going to show it just again. It's going from one artboard here to the second artboard and just moving down that timeline. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just make a copy of my artboard, and I'm going to change this height to 10. Actually, Actually, you know what? Before I do that, one thing I'm going to do, and this is a really important piece, is I'm just going to take everything that's going to be moving, all of my timeline pieces here, these 4 groups, not the background layer, not the navigation, just the aspects that are going to be moving, and I'm going to make that into a group. Okay, so that's my timeline. Now I'm going to redo that again. I'm going to change this to that. And so the rest of my timeline is still in here, but this is going to be the starting screen. And then I'm going to go into a second screen here. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to shift it up. Now, the reason why I wanted to make sure everything was grouped is perhaps when you make that second, or when you change that artboard height so that it's only to that, where I changed the height to 1097. I wanted all of this to still remain together. But if I didn't group it, it might just be off the artboard. So that's why you need to make sure everything that's going to have movement is grouped. Okay, big piece of this whole thing. So I moved this down, and let's actually animate just this. If you want to just do this, just move it down and work on that animation, great. But we'll also talk about how you can kind of kick it up another notch and make some more animations within there. So I'm taking this artboard, selecting the whole artboard, taking the blue arrow and dragging it over to the second artboard. From here, the trigger is tap, the trigger is right now tap, but I want to change it to keys and gamepad. So this keys means your keyboard. So the key that I want to select is the down within my keyboard, right? The little down arrow. The transition is, I'm going to change it to Auto-Animate, and I'm going to have an ease in and ease out, and I'm going to change it to 2 seconds. So from here, I'm going to play it. I'm going to use my little keyboard down button, and it just has that movement where it's moving down, right? That little shift. Nothing fancy, but that already looks pretty cool, right? Just that little movement. So if you're a beginner, I would just work on that. But if you're ready to like have a little bit more of that movement, that little moving and grooving, let's do that. This is it somewhat feels a little complex, but don't worry, because we're working off the artboard a little bit. It's going to be a little funky, but stay with me here. I'm going to select the image, and I'm actually going to move this one to the left. And I'm actually going to select my text and move it to the left. And I'm going to change the opacity for all of this to 0. So it's going to move to the side and it's going to disappear once we have that movement. And then I'm also going to go down here and do the same thing. I'm going to move these to the left, turn off the appearance, move the image to the left, and turn off the appearance. So now I'm going to prototype this so that if I select up, it's going to go back to this screen. So I'm going down and then up. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to go down and we're going to see the movement. This is going to move to the left, and the other image from 2015 is moving in from the left into the right, right? So that's what was happening there. So let's do it again with the next artboard so we can kind of like get comfortable with this animation. So now from here, I have a question from Desi. Have you ever had to create a sticky call to action or elements that are top aligned to the top of the artboard? Oh, where did it go? The text just it just went away. What happened? Well, either which way, I'm going to share how I handle sticky things. Oh, there it goes. It's back. Which approach have you used that you found works best? Okay, cool. So if I have like a sticky nav up top, What you can do is select that when you're in design mode, go into the right-hand side, and where it says fix position when scrolling, I'm going to select that. Then when I play it, it's going to, oops. Oh, it's actually, it's probably best to show you on a different example here on this screen. All right. Now if I scroll or do anything within this screen, it's actually staying sticky. So it doesn't have to be at the top, it could be anywhere. If you have a little chat button down here and you want it to stay sticky, all you need to do is select that fixed position when scrolling. One note though is you do need to make sure it's at this layer is at the top, right? This at the very top within your layers panel. That's a big important piece. Otherwise, it might not actually work. So that's one thing to keep notice of. Good question. All right, let's move on from here. We're going to actually now move. I'm going to move this whole group up. And again, I want this image to kind of move off to that left when we're doing that shift, that animation. So I'm going to take this image and move it off to the side and turn off that appearance. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the text. It can get a little funky when we're like, we have it over this other artboard, so you can move it to make things easier. What I'll do is this. It's kind of like ghost assets and images that are around. So I moved that up, but I also need to move these items as well so that when they come into the screen, they're moving from the left into the right. Okay, so I'm moving these from the left, moving them to the left, and moving these as well to the left. And again, you just need to make sure everything is in a group. So it's just so that it's still recognized that all of these layers are in your artboard. Okay. And then let's prototype it. Down arrow. And this one is actually going to go here. Okay. So I'm just going to do these 3 artboards. Let's see how it feels. Moving left, nice. Moving left, coming in from the left, nice. So smooth, feels good, right? Okay, we have a question also from Desi. I just got a few minutes here. Oh, sorry, from Filipos. Is it possible to achieve this animation with component states? You know, I haven't tried it. Trying to think about it now. I don't know, but if anyone else has the answer to that, then I recommend putting in the chat. Wink. Thank you, Richard, for reminding me. That was a good moment. But I'll look into it. If you want to message me, and you guys can all feel free to message me on my Instagram or LinkedIn. You can find me Alize UX. Feel free to connect with me and ask me your questions so I can have actually some time to think about something that's a little more challenging like that. Okay, so we feel good about that. Once we're ready to share our designs, you can go ahead and what I would do is go into design mode, select these 3 artboards, and select the share button. Once you've done that, you're going to have a link that's going to be created, and that is the link that you can share into the Discord channel. If you want to share it on Behance so that I can give you some love tomorrow, I can show your work and you can feel good about it and the community can see it. What you can also do is take that artboard and press play, and you can record yourself going through this experience like this. And when I do that and I stop it, it's going to actually have the ability to save it as a video as well. So there are a couple options on how to share your designs. Don't forget that in Behance, when you create a project, you just need to make sure in settings, you add the project tag XD Creative Challenge so that I can find your designs tomorrow and give you those props. Okay, cool. All right, guys, that's all the things. I really appreciated actually all of your questions today. Come back if you have any further questions. And again, feel free to connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all the things. And I'm happy to answer all of your outstanding questions and continue to connect with you guys. Also, I'm on Discord as well. Feel free to connect with me on there and ask away. All right, I'll see you guys then tomorrow. Have a good rest of your guys' day and good luck on your challenge. Bye.